guys are doing? Today is Friday, March 31st. Another episode of CBN Tech Talk present. Now, let's do a runback from the last episode. I will wait until a few guys are coming. If not, it's fine. It's whatever it is. I've been contemplating how I'm going to do this show because since I am a professional IT technician, I work from home remotely. My desktop support technician exact level 405. I want to be able to have more than enough time to have the type of discussion, conversation, anything in detail concerning this series. I had an interesting conversation from working on the Black Men on Filter Network, helping Black Men on Filter to produce and host a show yesterday. Two of it hosts, one of it Coach K, and I had to break things down concerning the design behind not just building a PC, but what you're building a PC for, and how you can set up a budget whereby it doesn't hurt your pocket, but if you plan out correctly, you enjoy the experience. It was a really interesting conversation. She was taking it, I'll break it down what I learned from my own personal for the BT. I had a couple of builds along the way till I got what I have right now. And while building it, I had to look at things a little bit different. I am a PT enthusiast. I love to build customized PT. I love and enjoy to take the time out and figure out what kind of look I want to acquire. When building the kind of PT I love to have. And from trial and error along the way, I started to realize there's something different about building a PC. It's just like construction work when you build a house or you're a guy want to be a house from growing up. You want a distinguished looks, a certain feel behind it, right? So from one build to another build to another build, then in between builds, I swap out parts. While doing so, I start to take note of the thing behind it, the science behind it, why certain things work the way they work, why certain things not work the way they work. There's some good time, there's some bad time behind it. But I do know while building a PC, it gave me a sense of joy to understand, you know what? I could do better than this. I could tweak this part, I could tweak that part. Right? So going back to the last episode, I was talking about motherboards. And the way I was explaining it, motherboard is like the foundation of the PC. For those who have built home or built a house or built all kinds of buildings, before you start building a building, you first gotta focus on the foundation. What you build everything upon it. You know how you tear up and tear down the ground. You clear out all the bushes or the weed whatsoever. You start to get the metal rods, set out how the foundation gonna look like. You make sure you have your concrete ready. You know what I mean? Mix it up and throw it up whatsoever, what you're gonna do. Then from there, after you have done that, the first thing you look at is just what's next. Once you lay out the concrete, let that thing sit. That when you start burning as well. Same thing applied to the PC. When you want to build a PC, the first thing you gotta ask yourself, what the main purpose are you building a PC for? Are you building a PC just for gaming? To play some of the high-end games that they have out there today? Are you building your PC for graphic design, rendering? Are you building your PC for everyday use? Either be more of gaming over here, a little work over here, trying to work on your homework, a little design here and there. In case you want to burn DVD or burn a whole movie or whatever you want to do, that kind of thing. Building PC for a person about to go to college, or for a high school student? Are you building a PC for home? Are you into graphic design? Are you building a PC for AI rendering, 3D rendering, designing some anime or designing some game with requires like the Epic Store they have? Let me see what. Well, yes, since you mentioned Epic Store, let me just open that up along the way. Let's see. I thought I'm talking about Epic Store. Yeah, Unreal Engine. There are people who design games, mind you, or any other stuff that require you to have the Unreal Engine. The latest versions of Unreal Engine. Let's see if I can get hold of that information. Yeah, let me just drag it over here. The latest version of the Unreal Engine is called the Unreal Engine 5.1.1, right? Now, he did out. It's a cool software. Now, I would love to see if I could find a way to learn how to navigate around Unreal Engine. See if I could create my own game. But to do so, I gotta make sure if my PT can handle the workload. There's so many creative stuff out there people do, right? But at the same token, when you do any type of thing, you want to figure out, can your PC that you're trying to build from ground up, can it handle the workload? Can you able to do what you need to do on our PC without no glitching, no delay, no lagging when you try to drag the mouse, find the cooler start to get a little circuit thing going on. So today I'm talking about CPU. I'm more of an Intel guy, right? Open the browser to Intel. Uh, Products, Intel processors. Now it's funny that people don't look into these things like I do. The wrong side of the story. I know they get the old interpretation about different type of processor what to do, but that's not what I'm looking for. I don't want no brief. I had the product time in. Oh yeah, take a look right here. The Intel Core. Now, looking over here, right? I'm glad you got. Hey, Corey. Sorry I didn't see you, my brother. How you doing? Good morning. No, I haven't practiced for my song for the Dust to Spill. Now, the Dust to Spill is a show that Black Men on Filter produce. No, they call on Thursday. Yeah, Scam Life on that show. Well, since then, I've been helping produce the show called Breaking the Cycle with Dr. Mukumbe and Coach K. Now, and I get you got to do this section over here of Intel, right? You know that Intel got a lot of processors that they make. On top, you have the Intel Xeon Scalable processor. These are processors for servers. They describe here Xeon Intel Xeon Scalable processor family deliver unbalanced scale and performance for compute storage, network, and security. That's more like people who have to use server rack. So Intel Xeon processor are built for data center workstation to handle the heavy processing demand of cloud, big data, modeling, AI, and more. Now, there are motherboards out there that you can use to build a PC with, but I'll tell you this though. Those motherboards are not cheap. We go back to, what is it again? They're like the workstation type of motherboards. Now, if I had to click on this is what you're looking at. And I'm telling you, some of these Dion chip are no joke. I've seen motherboards where they either have like one cube processor or the one that's literally like an overkill. They come with two processor sockets set up. Now, as of lately, I'm thinking Intel doing things a little bit more different, right? Now, what I'm going to focus on are the core processors. When they first came out with the i3, the i5, the i7. The I did not come to existence, but I knew it would come out. I was just kind of like called it out. Hey, you need a computer class soon? Corey Hager, trust me, I'm doing a series concerning about building the PC because, for one, I think people do not understand it is possible to build a PC. It is possible to find a budget to build a PC, but then again, if you're not informed of what it takes to build a PC, from what you need to build a PC, I explained it to Coach K backstage after the show was over, before the show started and after the show was over. And she took some notes behind it. And I explained some things. I told her from my personal experience from building a PC, there are two main factors I need to pay attention to, because it's something I learned from going back and forth with my colleagues in the field as well. We always had this intellectual debate about what is required, what is not required, what you should future proof, what is not your future proof whatsoever, what is the limit, what is the minimum, whatsoever, and etc. So when you have these type of intellectual discussion going back and forth, sharing your views, sharing your thought and your reading behind it, what it does, it builds a level of interest to look much deeper to what you're going yourself into. So to me, when it comes to motherboards, right, like the eight website, I gotta ask myself, what kind of motherboard would I require? When I was getting motherboard from this brand, I was getting it under the RG Republic of Gamer. Now I'll tell you guys this. This brand is broken down to many sections. One section. The top brand you see over here, I will highlight this one. According to Ace, this is the good brand for gaming. It's not great, but it's good. Right? We had the small form factor motherboard for tough. We had the ITX, the ATX. They never come across with the EATX this time, what I understand. Right? Then when you get out there for the tough series, you got the Republic of Gaming, you got two sections of it. You got the Strict. The RG Strict is considered to be in between. It's gonna be better, right? Then from there, when you go for RG Strict, you go into the maximum plan, right? Get a perfect example. I have a RG Strict. No, not RG Strict, sorry. RG Maximus 13 Hero, considered to be a 11th generation motherboard going by the chipset of the Z590. Now, the Maximum brand is considered to be the best brand out there. Now, based on chipset wise, I want to show that again, like I did on the last episode. You have a chipset. Here are the chipset that have been worked on over the years. I want people to understand this. You have the Intel Z270, the Intel Z370, the Intel Z390. That one I thought you need the Aces a little bit more from the Z390. I had an Aces RG Strict Z390 motherboard, which considered to be a 9th generation. The 10th generation motherboard is under the Z490 series. The 11th generation motherboard is under the Z590 series. And for 12 and 13, respectively, it is the 690 and the 790. The X99 and X299. If I want to check all these, right? These are the massive motherboard that take these huge processors. These processors are not no joke. That's what I'm trying to point out. They all look like a Xeon processor, but they're considered to be the i7 version or i9 version. So to me, there's other chipsets that were the Intel B7060, the Intel C621, the B2050, the B360, the B365, the B460, the B560, the B660. They corresponded to these, so they're like the cheaper versions of the chipset. All right, that's out of here. I need to focus on the processors. So, not Intel processor, Intel Core, yeah. Now, you look at here, you have the five type of process that you require or you look into in case of building a PC whatsoever. Corey, I know, you know, when this deep. The reason I'm going this kind of deep, I need to break it down because for one, it's all based on, like I was saying earlier, what kind of PC you trying to build. If you're building a PC for regular use, regular purpose, I always going to recommend these two processors right here, the i3 processor or the i5 processor. This one would consider to be the budget processor right here. And look at the description. We'll go from i3. They call the value pack part to deliver outstanding performance for everyday tasks. This is the cheap version processors. When you see those type of whole laptop that come with a i3 processor, right? Give me a moment. Log into my workstation. Not seen it, but I have a reason why I don't show it up here. Like I said, I do work from home. So we're gonna log in for all the weekly on here. There you go. So this is the cheap version of the processor, the cheapest one. You have those type of home laptop, you can buy it from HP, you buy them from Lenovo, you buy them from Gateway, Acer laptops. Those cheap, easy to buy laptop with a very low value. They mostly come with the i3 processor. Right. Now, if you get to like an i5, i5 comes with what you call the budget processor. Like you see in the description, it's been exceptional performance for home and business PC with up to 14 core for gaming, creativity, and multitasking. That processor they will call the budget processor. It's affordable. So when you're buying the type of laptop, you can find them these laptops on the home laptop, you can find them on the business laptop. Now a lot of businesses when they're buying their laptop in mass numbers, they're looking at the spec, looking at what they're looking for, right? As long as it is powerful enough to do the work needed, without no lagging, without no issue whatsoever, they get that. But when it's to with PC, it's the same as fundamental. When you build a PC, some people don't want to go too far. When I take too far, you look at the i7 and the i9, those are the upper echelon when it comes to a PC processor. Compared to the Intel Core X series, these are the almost close to the extreme. Now, I haven't seen a lot of Intel Core X series lately. It was back then, they were doing a lot more of these. So they're now focused on the top four. So when you come to doing the PC, some people stick with the budget. They'll spend, let me say, we'll go back to a low generation. You spend about what? Maybe $200, $180 on the i5 part, which is not so expensive. They're not expensive to begin with. But they're somewhat affordable to fit within the budget to turn a better PC. So the i5 will be completely fine. You can game on the processor, you can do some homework, you can work on your Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, whatever. It will get the job done fine. but you need to have an ample amount of RAM. I will talk about that in another series whatsoever. The i7 processor, like they described, is a GPU that packed the power of the 20 core for accelerating computers supporting high-end gaming, connectivity, and security. The nickname for the i7 is called Workhorse. In most corporate America, the highest they will go to is the i7 for most regular PC for almost any kind of user. Either they're doing AutoCAD or they're using some kind of rendering program or any type of task training software that require more processing power. The i7 is always recommended on the majority what the word I'm looking for. Major choice for most PTA is for the not for the extreme user, but for the type of user they do it for, mostly for developers. A lot of developer PC that I help to build in most corporate America, they come with an ISO. Let me give you that. Let me give you this scenario. They'll get someone like a now we a desktop. It's huge. It's like a tower-like PC from either from Dell or from that other brand. Dell or from HP. They come with an i7 processor. They come with 32 gigs of RAM. So every PC will come to 16. We had to have 32 gigs of RAM. Now, God forbid, they able to pull the string from the management. They get them almost a $2,000 video card, put that in that provided there. They got two solid hard drives. The max I've seen from some people is like 1 terabyte, and they get another extra 1 terabyte add on when they need space. Normally, when they do all their work, they had to go to a particular cloud. But before they put the cloud, they make sure everything work well on the PC first before they upload it to the cloud. That's the same thing. That is the workhorse. Now, you really see the i9 processor in corporate America. Those are the next levels. Now, business use, the cost is much higher for what I know. So you see what it say. i9 processor deliver up to 24 cores of seamless 4K Ultra AD and 360-degree video, robust gameplay, and multitasking performance. Now, I think it's been described. I have an i9 processor. I have an i9 11900K. That's considered to be the beast of the 11th generation. Now, the latest version out there are the 12 and 13 generations. And they are beating their own generation as well. So I got the i9. With me, not only I have the strength of having 24 core processing, I would have seen it up to 4K, which I can watch 4K video. If I'm doing any type of rendering whatsoever, or when it comes to my gameplay, there should be no lag whatsoever. That concerning the Intel, right, and the multitask. Now, here the trick behind it though. When you buy the processor, no, it also had to work well with the motherboard you choose. Because I was telling you in the last episode I was referring to, you want to pick and choose the right motherboard. Now, when it comes to these motherboard I was saying before in the past, I'm not going to focus on 12th generation. I'm not going to focus on the 13th generation. The 12th and 13th generation are more of the, I'll check this one out. This is, so let's do this. I don't know what happened. You know what? Let me back out of it again. I don't know why it does that all the time. Okay, yeah, now you're going. Intel chipset. Intel. I want to uncheck this, uncheck this. This is 12, no, this is 13. 13 generations. To 12 generation out. And working from 11 generation downward. And I have my reason why I say that. It listed all the processors. I'm not gonna work with all these, so let me just X out of this. Just so you know, Ace is considered the number one out there on the motherboard. Second best motherboard series coming out from either Gigabyte or MSI. They fight for second and third place. That I know very, very well. Very obvious. There's Acer Rock and there's other brands out there. I don't too much rely on them. Other PC studios out there on YouTube, they may have their choice for certain really either based on the budget or the sponsors, what do they want. I think it's to me it's number one. Now, here we go. Now there's 13, no, correction. 11th generation comes with the Z590s series. The motherboard I'm using right now, right? As I'm scrolling down, they're talking about CPU. Now that's the motherboard I'm trying to purchase. I'm trying to sell one of my video cards. Hopefully the guy will come and buy it on Saturday. Now use the money to buy well to get from the marketplace. Another discussion I'll talk about. The mode I'm using right now is right here. I'm using this right now, right? This is the RG Maximus 13 Hero. This is the ATX motherboard. It's not an EATX, but it's an ATX motherboard, right? I combined this one with the i9 processor because of the power it gives out. The maximum this motherboard could take is 128 gigs of RAM. I can put two video cards based on the space you have here, right? I can use the third slot that adds something completely different. Now this is a very strong motherboard. The maximum brand, like I told you earlier from last episode, are for the high end. And you combine what I'm talking about processor, right? Go back here. You can use the i7, you can use the i5, you can use the i3 on those same motherboard too as well, but it will defeat the purpose. And explain what I was saying that. There are different type of motherboard for different performance ratios. You have the value pack motherboard. I'll call it, let's go along with the i3. You have the value pack motherboard. You had the very exceptional performance motherboard. You had the motherboard that can compete with the best of the best, and you had the extreme motherboard, which get too much power whatsoever, right? Now, when you building the PC, like I said, based on your budget, what are you looking for? If you just going to do for a regular PC or regular streaming, now guys, I'll let you say this. For streaming purposes, I would highly recommend you go with at least an i7 processor. I wouldn't recommend an i5. Even an i5 will be cutting it close, in my own opinion, my own expert opinion. I've been there for 122 years. But here will come to play. When you have an i5 processor, and whatever motherboard you use a high-end motherboard or mid-range motherboard or low-end motherboard, you got to look at level of stress you apply on the whole PC. The processor is the brain, the motherboard is the foundation. When you're picking and choosing what kind of processor, you gotta ask yourself, if I get a processor, I will have to combine it with the RAM, I will have to combine it with the video card, I will have to combine it with the storage, I'll have to combine it with the cooling, everything that comes along with it. Now, when you put all this together, Corey, that's the thing. I'm glad you mentioned that. You don't know what power level you may need yet. That's the thing about it because as I'm trying to break it down to people, it's all based on what the task you're trying to do. If you just go to regular browsing whatsoever, if you just want to stream through the internet whatsoever, the i5, the i7 will work fine. You know, the choice will work fit your budget. But if you go into the podcasting realm, anyone will get into podcasting, I always recommend a minimum of i7. The i7 is the workhorse because let me explain to you why. Either using StreamYard or using Restream or any other streaming platform, you want to have the enough processing power to utilize what you need to do on those platforms without no issue, without no interruption, without no flexion in between. That is very crucial about it. Remember what I said before when it comes to building PC based on uniform. Streaming is no different from gaming in a way, but it uses a lot of resource and power. The CPU do determine how far your PC can go with it because let me open this one up. This will show you a graphical look of my PT while I'm streaming right now, right? This is what you call the task manager. Right now, I have, logically speaking, 16 processors. This is on the i9, 11 generations. Now, the speed it's going right now is 4.8 gigahertz. Now, the base speed of my processor is put on at 3.5 gigahertz. It's not fully overclocked. This is overclocked based on the AI recommendation based on the type of cooling I have on my machine. Now, imagine if I was not to go with the thing called the AIO. The AIO is what they call the all-in-one cooling. It's a closed liquid cooling setup that's only meant for the CPU alone. But what I have is a very powerful processor. The i9 processor is a heavy duty processor. It's no joke. Now, one of my peers, he challenged me like, why don't you just go ahead and just build a custom water loop? The custom water loop whereby you have a whole complete with you have the radiator, you have one on two, you have the hard tubing or the soft tubing, you had the red where you pour all the liquid in, right? Then you have the block plate. You have one for the CPU, or you have one for the video card where you take out the video card, you take everything apart, take out the PTB, you put it on the water plate. You make sure you do everything, you put it in the buffer whatsoever. I have on my channel a video, no, not video, it's actually you see all the custom made PT build, where the PT enthusiasts go to the extreme. It takes time. And when you have all that said and done, general radiators, in some cases you have like two radiators, one on the top, one in the front. Now, depending on the case you have, some cases you can go to like four radiators, two in the top, two in the front. Either have like between how many fans? That's a lot. 12 to almost 32 fan. One, some are pulling, some are pushing, whatsoever. All that just so that it keep the CPU as cool as possible, as well as the video card. They're the two crucial parts. Now, I have not seen them build a water kit yet to keep the RAM kit. That's another component that people have tried over the years to see how to get it working. Now, they have the cooling for the chipset. That's when you have the extreme motherboard that has a huge water block built for that. As you can see, the graphic going up and down. That is my processor going at 4.8 gigahertz. The max it can go is up to, if I remember correctly, 5.4 when it's fully overclocked. Which means I would have to remove the AIO into the all-in-one cooler and have a custom-made liquid cool setup. And my ATA cranking it so while it's taking the cool air and we cool the heated water into a loop, I can push it even further. That's the thing. So I'm glad to show you that. So when you come, like I say, going to the PT building, everything varies. Yeah, people who go into graphic design, they actually need PT builder. Like, what would be the best idea? Some tell them, I recommend your i7. Some say, how far you want to go? Are you trying to do 4K regional to whatever I can see over here? 4K. That is for the 4K they're referring to are the 12th and the 13th generation because they have gone to the next level. We got the P core and the E core. That'll be another more series altogether concerning the 12th and the 13th, which I'm not touching right now. I'm talking about CPUs. These are the type of brain power for your PCs. If you're building PC for a kid, that's too extreme, I would recommend the i5. So they can play the little game on the PC, they can do their homework whatsoever, they can stream the internet, watch their YouTube. The i5 good for kids. The i3, it's more like I'm not trying to be shady. You just build a PC for your grandma and grandpa to toy because search the web whatsoever. You don't have to do anything too crazy, but you can fit right into their budget. That's the i3 processors. i5, i7 is like in between beats what you would put. If the person is doing anything for college student, I recommend between the i5 or the i7, depending on the major. Like, it ain't into the art or graphic design, it would be more like the i7. There you go, Corey. It is same fundamental. I was telling people that when you build a PC, it's no different from building a car. And when you build a car, you have the huge engine block, right? You have the exhaust pipe, the radiator. I remember in Nigeria when I had to wash my uncle's car, and my uncle, his wife, and my other auntie. I had to wash 3 cars early in the morning before I go to school. Yeah, that was a life for me. Early in the morning, I gotta wash the car, wash the roof, wash the side. I gotta clean the inside, open the hoods, open the radiator, check the radiator, make sure the water's in there. And I gotta pour in the radiator, right? Make sure the liquid's there. I gotta check the oil pressure. You check the oil pressure, you wipe it out, you check it again, make sure everything's good. Boom. If we need more oil, you have to pour in some oil there. So these are the basic that I was learning from my uncle taught me these things. The radiator main functionality is to keep the engine block cool at all times. Because anyone who is heavy on cars, if there's no water, no liquid in the radiator, and you're driving for a long period of time, the engine block will overheat because the water is being vaporized due to the constant heat pressure coming from the engine. So it means the water going back and forth, cooling the engine, going right back to the radiator, getting cooled down while you're driving fast, go right back in the engine block, cooling. That's the fundamental you see in the engine block applied to the same way when you have a high power CPU and you have a water cooling all in one cooling set with a closed loop or you have a cut water loop. It's the same fundamental. Now, yeah, some people don't even have that, have the CPU fan. Now, here's my thing about the CPU fan. That'll be another discussion. I'm not too much a fan of CPU fan because, for once, if you're not able to keep the heat down the processor, it's not to throttle. You don't see the full potential. That's what happens. So this what happen when you have these CPUs start to throttle the performance, start to go down. You see the graph like I showed over here, right? My CPU is not being throttled. It's going to 4.8. So imagine is using the CPU fan and heat getting too much. It will drop your performance from 4.8, go back to either 3.5 to either 3.4, trying to protect the health of the processor. Same thing applies to an engine block in a car or a truck, right? Same fundamental. This is why you got to look at anything. Now, when it comes to building a PC, we have people who have Windows 10. A lot of people still Windows 10. Windows 10 is not going nowhere to toward to the end of 2025. That's one thing. I got Windows 11 on my main PC. I got a laptop on the side on Windows 10. My work laptop is on Windows 11, so to speak. So that's not a big deal to me. Really, I'm saying on the parts, I want people to understand what you're getting me. Get up my binding processor. For streaming purposes, I always going to recommend between minimum at least an i7 processor. If you want to go to a little extreme with the powerful processor to do the work for you, it will be an i9. Based on motherboards, I don't know you're going to Asus motherboard. I'm not sure you're going to get a Gigabyte motherboard. I'm not sure you'll go for MSI or ASRock or whatever brand they have right there. Depending what you pick, you have to be combined with the processor. Either you go with the i3, i5, or i7, or i9. We have emphasized these things. I'm not sure all the bunch of series they have out. I'm going for the main four. It depends on what you're trying to do. Now, there are new things are popping out these days. Hey, Cole, yeah, I'm trying to do my best to make it as simple as possible. So people not gonna be looking confused because there are a lot of tech YouTuber channels out there, and they go into the numbers, they go into the kind of processor, what the processor chip is built on, and I look at regular people. Not a lot of people can suck in that much information like I do. So I'm trying to figure out how can I bring it down. Ooh, before we get to rest, please get to rest. You can come and watch the video. I will continue to work on this series and I can get to more episodes of this series. Because what I want to do is break down their understanding so people can really hope to go into love and having custom made pieces that are buying the brand. But I know that what people do these days, they don't. Oh, sorry about that. I know what people do these days, they try to just figure out what they need for themselves, and they make mistakes. And yeah, I've seen it happen with a period of time. People buy a PC, they try to figure out what they need for their PC. They think this is okay, that's okay. They don't know the science behind it. Or I'm gonna be there this evening at the barber shop at the Black Men Unfiltered Network. Once again, guys, I am part of the Black Men Unfiltered Network, where I help produce some of the show in the back end. I'm also sometimes be a guest appearance. Yeah, they crack jokes to me. It's what I like to have fun from New York City, Brooklyn. I can take a joke. It's all good. It's no big deal with me. But when I'm here on my channel here on Tech Conversation, I try to be too much detail, but I'm trying to be um, as much as I can to explain what's going on. So when I refer to these processors, whenever you want to build a PC, you gotta ask yourself this question: what kind of processor are you trying to go with? Based on the processor, you gotta ask yourself what kind of workload you want to apply on your processor. Either you just do regular surfing the web, watching some YouTube channel, watching some movie, playing some simple game here and there. That is fine. You're trying to go to the deep end whereby you edit some video, do some graphic design, playing some high end games. You want to know what you get yourself into. So going forward, we're going to look at this. You have only four processors coming out on the Intel series that can be made. You got the i3 processor, you got the i5 processor, you got the i7, you got the i9. You don't see a lot of the Intel Core X series processors. I don't know why. Maybe Intel do something different with those. They were at that time they were coming out with the X series. The i9 didn't come to existence. The i9 kind of replaced it. For everybody out there in the YouTube streaming or the Twitch or whatever, if we're going to stream, you gotta look at what kind of parts we put in. I'm not an Indian. I'm not an AMD. Hey, Leonard Novo, how you doing? Good morning. How you doing? I'm not a AMD fan, which I would love to. I would like to put it out there. If I could find someone who would be a co-host with me in the morning or whatever time they can have, right? If they can sit down and break down the AMD section thing where I can ask questions, that would be great. But I'm more of an Intel guy. But anyone into podcasting, you require to have at least an i7. I will not say i5. What generation you get yourself into, I would recommend stick with 11th generation for the meantime because right now, going forward, the 12th generation, 13th generation motherboards, they're not bad. It's just that you can't fully maximize the performance without them. It's like itching going with the RAM bus speed, whereby you can't go with a whole full slide. I only got two slots set up. There's some issue for the driver here and there. Corey Hager, get some rest. Don't worry. You can come back and watch the video all over again. You can take some when you get a chance to. Then from there, from each series that's going on, because the last episode I did was on motherboards. And I took my time to break it down. I might do the same thing again on next episode, try to combine piece by piece what it looked like when you burn the PC. So you can get an understanding behind it. So don't worry about it, Corey. This video is not going nowhere. If you're all into this, the YouTube streaming on the gaming. Now, for guys who want to build PC for streaming and gaming, like I said, at the moment it's i7. If you go overboard, it will be an i9 processor. It will do the workload for you. Now, I will talk about the CPU cooling on the next few episodes. I don't know which episode I will refer to that one because I'm going by the documentations that I built for one individual. This is right here. Now, let me see if I can. Oh, I didn't update the plugin. Don't worry about it. I started with the motherboard, but I'll bring the prices whatsoever. That started from the TPU. Then for the TPU, the next episode will be more on the memory. Yes. The next episode, I'll be talking about the memory, the pricing, and what to look for, how many are out there. There are multiple brands of memory makers out there. That will be the next episode. This is a 17-page documentation that I did. Just so you know, 17 pages. I took the time out, pour out my knowledge, I did not want to go to the extreme. I would love to, trust me. It would have been funny. 17 page. It could have been 21, it could have been 30 page. Who knows? So I'm going to focus on CPU for this episode alone. So once again, I wanted to summary because right now it's almost an hour, which I don't want to take too much of my time because I gotta work. So I'm talking about processor. We have four main processors out there. We have the Intel Core i3 processor for the cheap build for people who have a more budget. My sinus is acting up, don't worry about it. I'll take it after the show. You got the Intel i5 processor, which is the budget. It's in between for the high end and the low end. You got the i7, nicknamed the workhorse processor. You got the i9 processor, which also the extreme what I have. And when going to that place, you want to make sure you have something that work well with the i9 processor. Other than that, guys, ladies, if you have any question, please, on any of these episodes that I've talked about on, please post your question so I can go back and check and see what I can do, how I can answer your question as well. I want to make sure that I help people to understand what they get themselves into. I'm talking about building PC right now. I'm not going to talk about a laptop too. Maybe that'll be another time for another day. But I want people to understand when you're going to build a PC. It's not that complicated, but you need to get some regular knowledge to understand what you can get yourself into. The next episode will be mostly on the RAMs. About the multiple products that are out there. You have the Corsair. Let me go back into the list. Based on the list I created for this individual, right? You had the Corsair, you had the Kingston, you had the G Skills. There's many other brands out there, but it's what we could trust. What you want on your PC, the speed, the compatibility, and so on. Those are the things you want to look into. Be careful about that. Other than that, it's been a great time with you guys. Please, please, please. If you want to know what I'm talking about, not for the first video that I did. I was trying to put out much explanation of public video content so you guys can have a better understanding, take notes. Till then, take care of your silence. Good day, guys. I'll see you next time.